In five, four, three, two, one. Boom! Welcome everyone to Breaking Bread with Corey. Thank you so much for joining us for another great show. First of all, before I begin anything, I just want to thank you all for your support. Thank you all for joining me and supporting me throughout this last month and a half. It's been quite a ride. Really exciting to see all of the ambassadors out there doing their thing and supporting one another. It's definitely a community. And I'm so excited to continue this vision, this journey, this venture that I have. I've been so excited to bring on new and exciting and fresh guests to the screen. And this is about community. It's about welcoming everybody. Hello. Thank you all for joining. It's about community. It's about all of us joining in together, and everybody is welcome here. This is about us sharing our stories. And I'm so excited to bring on this next special guest, this special lady from the New York area. But before we do that, I just want to let you know we have a treat for you. We are going to be doing a beer pairing tonight. I'm sitting here in my veranda in the Pacific Northwest, chomping on some honey wheat pretzels from Trader Joe's. Absolutely delicious. And today I'm highlighting a good friend of mine, Miss Lou Moschetti from Brewer Brewery out in Vista, California. Lou sent me several beers, and I'm so excited to dig in and taste, and I'm really enjoying her captain's orders from Bear Root Brewing. If you ever get a chance and you're in the California area, check that out. And I have of course, my Rebel Glass right here, my Luke Skywalker X-Wing. If you're a Star Wars fan, I love you. If you're a Star Trek fan, I hate you. No, I'm just kidding. But thank you all for joining. I'm so excited. And let's kick this show off. I'm so excited. We have a special guest. And I'm going to go ahead and bring her on. Let's see. I'm going to share the screen. There you are. Perfect. Hello.
Hey, Corey.
Hey, how's it going? I'm just fixing my camera really quick. If you
That's
just
fine.
give me just a moment.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully,
My platter.
hopefully,
That's off my house.
yes. Can you hear me fine? Can you hear me okay? Let's see. Let me see here. Perfect. All right. Let's see.
My buddy Kenny. What's up, Kenny? What's up, Ricky?
All right.
We're getting some beer
Welcome.
people in the day.
Awesome. Welcome everybody from the Pacific Northwest all the way to the East Coast. So excited to share the screen with you, Miss Melissa. I'm so excited. We've been talking back and forth for the last 3 weeks?
Yep.
Getting this thing ready, talking about even doing this joint pairing idea. So we actually got this idea, Melissa got this idea of showcasing her beers, and I recommended the cheeses to go with her beers, and it's got to be dynamic, right? It's got to be dynamic, right?
I hope so. I do. Excited.
Did you get to taste any of it?
I did. I had to go ahead and just try it out a little bit before we started to know what I was delving into.
And how was it?
I think we really have a home run here. We've got
on the money?
stain flavors. We've got some complementary flavors, and so that's really exciting. Hola, ¿cómo está, my friend? How are you? So I think this is going to be
awesome.
How are we going to kick it off, Corey? This is your show, not mine, and I have a real.
Hey, I love it. It's about hey man, it's about having a good time. We're all sitting here breaking bread. We're sitting around the table like we are, even though we're virtual. it's still, we're sitting right across from each other. So we're just having a great conversation. But why don't we kick these off with introduce who you are?
Okay. Well, my name is Melissa. You can call me Mel for short if you prefer that. And I am the spokesperson for Beer World. It's a chain of family-owned beer stores. We do craft beer. We have 13 locations in New York and growing. So mainly, I just like to have a lot of fun. That's what it comes to.
Nice. Nice. And you are a RN and a mother of two.
Yep.
So, it must have been crazy this past year in 2020, right?
Yeah.
Trying to balance it all. I think this is really a time to kind of reflect. So can you tell us like how you juggled that? How you juggled being a frontline worker and a mother of two? I have one son and I thought it was pretty crazy. I could just imagine what you were going through.
Yeah, sorry. My husband handled all of that. I was working in the ventilator COVID unit, and so we decided what was best for our family at that time was for me to separate from everybody. So I lived in the basement for like 2 months, and I kind of had like one little area of the kitchen that I would sit in, and they would be at the table far away from me. And it was not easy. It's still not. I mean, mentally, your nurses, your frontline workers, we are not necessarily like the same people we were going into it.
Right.
We're all just kind of getting really excited that, the vaccines are here and life is kind of moving forward and we're kind of getting that normalcy back. But I'll be honest, like the beer definitely took my mind off of it. And actually, this account stalled during that portion. I had started my account like in October of 2019, and so when that all happened, I kind of just pushed this to the side. But we're back and we're doing it. So without my husband and our niece that with us, I would not have been able to.
I can't, like I said, I can't imagine what that was like juggling that. And how is it back there now? How is everything? Is things starting to slowly open up? And
yeah, I mean, New York's been pretty much open per se. I mean, I think movie theaters just opened back up, so that's like a really fun and exciting thing. There's still like a lot of fear, and with the cold
right.
weather, I get it. It was difficult, but I think people want to be normal, but I think people are very cautious here. I know that's
right.
not like all over the country, but we were the first ones to kind of get slammed with COVID, and
right.
it's like a whirlwind, So I want things to be back to normal. So hopefully soon. I mean, school's been really rough because they're hybrid, and then if there's like
right.
they shut down the school. So again, my husband's great because I have to be at work. I can't not be at work. So he'll bring them to the office. He's the COO and vice president of Beer World. So they have like their little stations in his office, and he does like daddy daycare while he works. So kudos to you, Lou, if you're watching.
Well, kudos to you both. I say all parents, everybody that had to deal with this pandemic straight on are heroes. Parents are heroes. I don't hear a lot of that actually said. Parents are heroes, but parents are heroes because we had to deal with so much. And teachers, of course.
Really
teachers
backwards for our kids. Yes, I got to them out because I could never do that. Like, I'll be a nurse. I will do all of that. I will save your life, but I can't teach your kids, and I don't want to.
No, I mean it has just been
all that.
It's been pretty intense, but I gotta say it right now. Thank you for being out there, putting yourself out there. You and your husband doing the work to keep yourself and your kids safe. That is an important thing, and I don't know how much you hear it, but it's just a big thank you. I think it's important because we all sit back. A lot of us sit back at home, and we don't realize that there's a lot of people out there doing the work, rolling up their sleeves and doing the work. And I definitely appreciate you. And thank you so much for what you do. I can't say it enough. I got to do a little cheers for you. What do
Um,
you drink? What are you drinking right now?
so I'm actually drinking, we're going to be pairing this one, but I have the Royal Kilt Inspector. This
Oh
is
yeah,
Scottish ale, and this is from Warhorse Brewing, which is up in Finger Lake. So I tried to, the stout is not New York, but it's really a good stout. I tried to keep some of our local-ish kind of
yeah,
craft beers.
yeah. Showcase that. Show. Could you show what you're using for your pairing today? Because
Okay,
I want to highlight those. If you have locals,
I do. So
awesome.
this is my cheese board.
Love it. Love it.
And so we're going to be pairing a Scottish ale. Oh, sorry. I'm like, where am I looking? With
That's a cool can. Cool can.
We have a brown ale, and this is really local. This is from Newburgh, which I love, with the Roquefort blue cheese. Which, by the way, I gotta tell you, this little piece that I got has a really, really beautiful, nice vein running all the way through it. I was like, this
Yeah.
cheese. And then lastly, this I love, love, love this stout. This is an imperial stout. It's my mug, my rules. This is by Short Throw Brewing Company. They're based out of Connecticut, I want to say, and we are pairing that with an aged gouda. And
Nice.
I didn't necessarily think about the cheese progression. I don't know if it matters, but I figured we would start with the pepper jack and work our way to the stout. It's usually,
Right.
yeah. Does that work? Or is that
Yeah, absolutely. And the one thing I got to mention about just pairing in general, pairing in general, I've seen a lot of conversations of pairing in general lately with wine, beer, and it's really about weight versus weights. Uh,
okay?
it's density versus density. It is so if you have whether you're drinking a heavy wine or a light wine, a heavy beer to a light beer, you want to match the heaviness and the intensity with because you want it to balance.
Right.
So the simplest terms is just that perfect marriage, weight after weight. So if you have a heavy tasting beer like a stout or why do I keep on missing out besides stout? What is the other dark one besides stout? I
Would
always forget it.
porter, maybe a porter.
Porter, like a porter. If you have heavy beers like that, you want to have more of an aged, nuttier
Right.
cheese. Aged cheeses do so well with that. And then as you start to cut down through the grid and start to center yourself and start heading to your light beers, the same thing with your wines, your cabs, your zins. You want to have that big density, even a fat. You could use a heavy fat cheese, like even with a stout or a porter, it's like milk to your to cut to your coffee.
Right.
A lot of those beers, a lot of those wines have tannins or bitterness.
Okay.
And think about it as adding milk to your coffee.
All
It's
right.
just cutting the acidity down, it's cutting that tannic taste down, and it's helping that balance. And so that looks your cheese board absolutely looks beautiful. I want to just reach in and grab it.
You know, first love with culinary and cooking. I remember being in the kitchen with my mom at 3 years old making sauce. And anybody that knows me, especially, I don't think like any of my fam is in here right now, but my husband is. He'll tell you that the kitchen is actually my happy place, and I've come back to it finally. That was one of the things with COVID that I kind of just, I was like, no kitchen. I'm like, I don't want to see that kitchen. And so now I'm back there, and I'm like, I remember this. I do love food and I do love drinks, and I just think that, you know, a home cooked meal and having the love that you put into that food and sharing it with somebody that you love is the best thing on the planet, really. I mean,
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, there's nothing like fresh ingredients.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Fresh ingredients, and depending on the style or the cuisine that you're putting
Oh,
to putting together your dish, it just that's the thing I love about cooking. And I'm a guy that actually burns oatmeal, but I try to dig deep and learn because I knew we had to really dig deep when we were in lockdown. So I try to help my wife out as much as possible by
mhm.
doing a lot of the cooking. And so I learned really how to make an exquisite, I just lay it all down, an exquisite PB&J I know how to slab that knife right across the bread, nice and smooth, and then get that jam just perfectly right. Boom,
Hey,
and
listen,
it is.
you know you have to peanut butter both sides of the bread, right? Not just one. That jelly's got to sit in the middle. Otherwise,
Oh,
that's key.
almost almost like a Big Mac of peanut butter and jelly, right?
I'm into that.
Yeah, that is. I gotta try it. I gotta try it.
Oh, that's a trick. That's a trick from like, you know, I was a paper bag lunch bringer to school and I wanted to be like a buying kid, but my that didn't happen. So I always brought my lunch and my dad made my sandwich, my jelly would bleed through. If my mom made it, she knew the peanut butter barrier
Yeah.
trick. So I do try to do that with my kids, although I'll my peanut butter and jelly compared to like a Smucker's Uncrustable
Yes.
is like the worst. So they're like, give me the Smucker's Uncrustable. I'm like, what? This is organic peanut butter. What is wrong with you?
Yes.
You know?
Yes. My son lives on Uncrustable strawberry. He loves his Uncrustable strawberry,
I'm like,
and
Lord of it. They asked me for Lunchables and I almost died the other day. So we
the
bought
thing,
stuff to make homemade Lunchables. So that's what we've been doing.
the thing that's scary too is my wife doesn't like crust on her bread. I don't know if any of you out there like your crust on your bread,
Oh, I
but
got
she cuts the crust off. And now I see my son cutting the crust off the Uncrustables. He gets that little rim off and
yeah.
he just eats around. I'm like, oh my God, like son, like mother. It's just crazy. It's crazy. Um, but the one thing before we kick off into the beer too is I just saw a recipe for a melted peanut PB&J,
Ooh.
like with toasted bread, and it was melted. That looks.
Yeah, Kenny's.
Gotta toast the bread. See right there, you got it. You know what's up. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for PB&J.
Yeah,
I think everybody is.
that's straight
That
up
is.
like home cooking at its finest. That's like your best day when you were a kid. And we love peanut butter in this house. We actually just eat it right out of the jar. I'm like a peanut butter on the spoon kind of girl.
Oh
Like you
yeah, absolutely. That is like the best. I love peanut butter. I love peanut butter. Um, so I wanted to I wanted to sit and really get to let everybody know about your story. And you were talking about how you love being a cook, how you love your kitchen is one of your sanctuaries.
hmm
What you've been doing, especially through the pandemic. Um, the 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 thing that was I really dig, that I found very captivating, is your promos that you do on your page. I love it. The latest one where you're on the quad and
Oh, yeah.
sharing the beer.
Easter.
Where do all these great ideas? If you haven't followed Melissa, you gotta follow her. See her on her page. It is, if you want entertainment, it is the ultimate thing. You gotta check it out.
You laugh. I don't know. We're just really wild. We have such an interesting family and such an interesting relationship, my husband and I, and we just are like a fun bunch. So really, like the quads were out for the kids yesterday, and my sister-in-law was here, and she's like the fanciest person on the face of the planet. Like she likes really high-end things, and she dresses really nice, and like she brought Louvre over, you know, she likes nice things, as do I. But she will also get down and dirty with the boys because my husband is her older brother, and like these people are nuts. Like he used to have them take rides in the dryer as kids. Um, they're all about playing in the. Yes, it's a true story. Lou is here right now. So listen, that's like what goes on with your crazy mind. Um,
Yeah.
the kids have always rode. I hate them. I'll be honest. And I was like, we should do a beer scavenger hunt. And I said, what a great idea. And then Lou was like, get on. Like, I really don't want to. And he's like, get on the quad. I'm like, fine, it's gonna look really good. Sup, beer lover? How you doing, Snap? No, we didn't die. No, nobody died. Nowadays we get CPS called on us. But I think like the point of this page and this account is just to have like a lot of fun and be really silly. Also bring people to Beer World, right? Because that's the point. But
Right.
I
You
saw
the,
the way
it,
back chugs. I didn't create them. I just saw somebody do it and I was like, I want in.
Right.
Like
It-
there's Saturday night Zoom chug, I'm in. So like
yeah.
basically say yes. Say yes to everybody, do things, meet people, be cautious, be a little cautious.
Right.
I mean, it's Instagram. Like you know, like you have to blow off steam from real life, especially now.
Right.
It's just a lot, you know? So I think
Right.
it's fun and I hope people laugh. And that's actually one of the things that I did during the pandemic was I was just like, you know what? I'm going like uncensored on Facebook. Like I'll do my stories and I'll say whatever I want and people can watch them or they can choose to unfollow me. These are people
Right.
me in real life, you know?
Right.
Well, the response was like crazy. Like, and my husband did it too. We were always together, like doing like just silly stuff, challenges,
Yeah.
stocks, whatever. And people were like, you are like saving us through this. And like, we look forward to like what you're putting out there every day. And you're making me laugh when I really want to cry. And I'm going nuts inside of my house. So I was like, you know what? Laugh at me because if you can laugh at me, then at least you're laughing because otherwise we're all going to be crying. So why do we don't want
Right.
to do that?
No, it's a great thing what you do, and that's the best thing about, like I said, about your page. So much fun. There's so much life, but the thing is really that's really cool. I don't know if you really notice this, but for me, the color, the vividness
Oh,
of watching all, because it's like honestly, it reminds me of going to a flat page and then going to Oz. When you go from black and white, when
that's
you go
a
from,
great analogy. I love that.
yeah, when you go from black and white and then all of a sudden you go to the full Technicolor, the full spectrum, you see all this vibrance and the colors and everything. Like I'm looking at your page right now and it's very eye catching. And
Oh, thank you.
that's a great thing. Not only do you have something that is really fun and attentive, you got people's attention, and you do some really fun and kooky things, but the color, the vibrancy, it's just eye catching, and you want to just follow it. And that's what's great about it. And I love that. I was like, this is so cool. And for I don't like you were talking about your neck of the woods. I'm in Oregon, and we're still kind of dealing with up and down individual counties being closed and open. And so we're still in that mode. We haven't even gotten our vaccines. We just registered today, and
Oh,
we're frontline workers. We've been,
wow.
we work in the grocery industry, and we've been out and about since day one, and it's really odd, but we're like, why are we like what some of the last people to get
No,
vaccinated or be on the list?
yeah,
But that's what we're dealing with right now. And
yeah.
so your page is a real joy. Again, it's another big thank you for what you bring, the energy that you bring. It's just really fun. And what made you get into the whole, what was it besides your husband, but what was the real thing that just made you get into beer? Like all of a sudden just go, I want to continue learning about it.
Oh, my husband. Yeah. They were opening a new store and they were like, we need somebody to go live on Beer World Middletown page. You do it because you're always on your phone anyway. And like, that has put, I have a fitness Instagram that's kind of like died out and I've kind of just merged them together here where I can be myself and be beer and be fitness and roll that all into one. So I was constantly like, I am just going to story everything. Like, and if you don't like it, just don't watch it. So I was like, yeah, I could do the live. So there was a bunch of raffles. And when we did the raffles, then it was like, all right, now come back and like announce the winners. And I was like, Lou, it would be fun because I would I would drink beer. I mean, who doesn't like it, right? But he would bring really nice stuff home, and I'd go like, "Oh, this is great! Like, this tastes good." I'm into it, but I really wasn't like seeking to learn more about it. I was like, "What if we just did?" And we had talked about a podcast for a while, like years ago, where I was like, "It'd be really funny to have one of the experts like be on audio with me, and I'm trying beer that I have no idea, and they have like this really in-depth knowledge, and I have no clue what I'm doing." Which is now I'm learning a little bit more, but I'm like, I'll try it. Like I am really very novice and that's okay. You got to start somewhere, but it just snowballed. I was like, it would be really fun if I just shot like a video here and there with like some of the guys, and we can push people to come into beer world and, you know, show them that there is beer for everyone. And if you like Bud Light, that's great. We've got that. But if you want to try something that's similar to Bud Light, but maybe a little more craft, like we've got that for you too. So it's just been a good time.
So I hear all this, you know, this buzz about beer world. What makes beer world? Because it just seems like it's you open the doors and you hear oh, like you just walk, you know, walk in. Yeah.
You know,
So tell us about beer world.
so for my, this is a true story also. And for my, oh God, how old was I, Lou? I think I was like 28. I'm going to be 37 this year. So this is going back. Um, and he was like, what do you want to do for your birthday? And at this time, there was like maybe 3 stores. And I was like, take me to Beer World Kingston. I haven't seen it yet. 36 beers on tap. And it's literally the Toys R Us for adults if you like beer. If you don't like beer, we've got something else for you too. But it's like you go in and you're like, wait, you have that, or you have that. What's really limited? What like and the fun of it too is that every store is different. So even though they might look the same, like what the product that is in the store is very unique to the area that it is in. So
That's cool.
yeah, it's awesome. So I like to go and hop around the different stores because the selection is always different based on the location, which you really don't find in, I don't want to say we're big box because we're not. We're a family owned company, you know, and maybe
Right.
it will be bigger than that, but it's very unique to each area. And I just love that. And it started, Sunny is the owner, but it started because there was like a craft beer group that was local and they're like, we can't get these beers. Like, can you get these beers for us? And he was like, let me see. And then he was like, oh my gosh. And then he got into it and he was like, I just see this like crazy unique store. And so we've done that. I haven't done any of it. I've just watched it
And
involved.
I like that, and I got a key on that right now, which you just before you go on, and I love what you're talking about, but what you're talking about is neighborhood, community, and a lot of places that we go to has lost touch. They're so impersonal. It's a lot of just it's just about sales, but
Yeah.
when you were talking, it just reminds me of, hey, let's everybody come in from the neighborhood, support the
Yeah.
locals from that area. And that is important. I think right now it seems like since all this stuff happened with the pandemic, it seems like people have started to reroute their mentality. And
Mm-hmm.
seeing things like this, we need more neighborhood stores, small family businesses, things like that, that
Yeah.
concentrate on the neighborhood, the atmosphere of where you live in, and that's great. I love that.
One,
And you say you have beers on tap.
yeah. So you can come in.
That's cool.
We have a growler line. You can't drink, like, you can't be like, I'll order like a pour of this, but you can sample
Right.
everything before you buy it. So each line is different, but like Kingston has the most, I think it's 32 or 36. I think Middleton has 18 or 21. Pine Bush has like maybe 16 or 17. Monticello similarly, and it's always different. So beer menus. Beer menus, yeah. So you can always see what is on there right now, and they update that. And we try to do like we try to really switch it up and have variety. So like if you want a stout, we have it. If you want an IPA, we have it. We have a sour. We have an ale. You know, we try to have a little bit of everything. I mean, obviously IPAs are huge in the craft world. We do have a bunch of those, but they
Right.
try to not make it so heavy into one thing. So there's something
Right.
fun. And I think right now,
Cool.
especially, I think with COVID, like crowlers and growlers have kind of, it can be tough. It can be tricky, but I'm for it. I love it. That's like my favorite feature, I think. Please gravitate.
Now, now, what is your, if you had a go-to style of beer, whether it's stouts, porters, pilsners,
Mhm.
lagers, ales, IPAs, what is your go-to? Do you have like your Friday, Saturday, Sunday beer? Like, what do
Yeah,
you got?
I do. I do. So I love, love, love stouts, but stouts, you know, it's seasonal for me. I mean, I'll drink a stout year round. I'll drink stouts in the summer, but I really have been getting into double dry hopped IPAs and triple IPAs, and basically I like hazies. I'm not as much big on the West Coast IPAs. They're a little more hoppy, where the New England is a little more balanced. It has some citrus in it. I mean, I love it all, but definitely like I would say like probably a double IPA is like my
Nice.
two right now, and
Very cool.
that'll change, I'm sure. But you know, it's like wine. It's like, what are you eating? What are you drinking? And so you try to
Right.
match that a little bit, you know?
See, that's great. I love that mentality. I love what you're bringing. I love the versatility, and just again, I think it's so nice hearing this neighborhood feel, and that gives just an appreciation. It makes me want to go. I've never been to the East Coast. I haven't been able to travel much, but
Yeah,
it just seems like, man, I got to get down there and just experience it because it seems like it's got a cool vibe.
it is. And we really also like, I think the big um, selling point for us as well is that it's all about customer service. You know, from the time you walk into the store, you're greeted. It's like Walmart because that's not right, but there's somebody there waiting. When you come in, they greet you with a hello. How can I help you? What are you into? What do you know? Let me show
Yeah.
you this new product that we have. So
Yeah.
definitely, like our beer experts, hands down, like they are the blood of the company. You know, the blood, the bones. They really make it, and we strive to like really emphasize like customer service. You know, you want to feel taken care of when you come to our store, and I think that's really what we try to do for everybody. Even
That
me,
is.
even when I'm there, if I'm shooting something, like I'm like, "Are you being helped? Like, what can I do for you? Do you want to try something on the growler line?" They're like, "Is this?" I'm like, "Yeah, you know, I'm here so often. I just might as well work here." Sometimes I have
I,
around, but most of the time I don't. You know,
Yeah, and I dig both. I dig your own personal page with and the beer world page, what you do there, and like again, just the promotions that you do, the creative promotions is just really fun, creative. I love it, and it's just again eye catching, eye
aw,
catching. I love that. I love that. So I know a lot of watchers have just joined on, so I just want to welcome everybody. If you just joined us,
yeah.
welcome to Breaking Bread. We're sitting with Miss Melissa. She is from Beer World. She is the spokesperson for Beer World and RN, mother of two, frontline hero, frontline worker. She's doing her thing. If you follow her, if you don't follow her, you must, and you must check out Beer World. It is, like she said, it is the Toys R Us of beers, and I definitely dig it.
Oh yeah.
And if
If you are a New Yorker and you're like Hudson Valley, or you know, shoot me a DM. I'll meet you at the store. I'll be your beer expert today. Then we can like go and actually have a beer at like a brewery because we have some really great beer in the area right now, and it's just getting better. It's like exciting. So I'm always
that's awesome.
let me know.
That is awesome. And if you have a question for myself or Melissa, you could leave the question right in that little bubble with the question mark. We are doing a little pairing today. Melissa crafted. I gave her some cheeses, some fun cheeses, and she paired it with some local beers. And for those of you who haven't checked it out, could you go ahead and show them the cheese platter again with the beers?
So we've got some pepper jack. We've got a Roquefort, if you can see that, a Roquefort blue cheese, and then in the back there is an aged gouda. And I've got my beers next to them, so I know which is which. Because they're all kind of dark, to be honest, but
Yeah.
that's okay.
And that's good. And the thing too about cheese, if for the consumer or the watcher that really has a question about cheese and time outside, being out, for all cheeses, it's better for it to, it's like wine. It's like beer when you open the can and you get it in the glass and all those aromas and flavors hit the glass, starts to open up. You start to smell the aromas and flavors. It's the exact same thing for cheese. The longer you let it sit, the more vibrant it's going to become. And that's why a lot of old world cheese shops don't refrigerate their cheeses is because they want all those flavors and aromas to come out. It might be stinky, but it's actually allowing that cheese to really showcase itself with all those flavors. And so if you have cheese sitting out, it's just like pizza that sits out for a second day, it gets better.
Oh
The
my God.
exact same thing with cheese.
Like I always weird when people put their pizza in the fridge. I'm like, who does that? Just leave it in the box on the stove like
we do that. You're making fun of us, man.
I'm
I
like,
gotta.
great, he's on there, so that's okay. And
It's all good.
in microbiology, like when I was in college, we did a study on why pizza is okay to sit out for a day. So it is a scientific fact. You do not have to refrigerate your pizza overnight. You can leave it out in the box. You're not going to die from it. But also 2 days,
Yeah.
1 day, one overnight sitting only.
Somebody said, please show the cheese tray once again. There it is. And name the cheeses and the beers if you can.
Yeah. I'll show you the beer cans too. And I'll show
Yeah.
as we taste them. But
Beautiful.
this is the Scottish ale. Again, this is from Warhorse Brewing. They're up in the Finger Lakes.
That's awesome.
Brown ale from Newburgh Brewing Company. This is local to me. And then this is the stout. This is My Mug, My Rules. This is absolutely delicious. It's one of my favorite imperial stouts. It's from Short Throw Brewing Company, and they are based out of Connecticut.
So let's do.
I saw it in the store, and I wanted it.
So let's start with pairing number one. Let's do it. So you have.
Yeah. I feel like I'm taking over. I always do this.
No, you're good.
It's the worst. Okay, so we're starting with the Warhorse. This is a Scottish ale, and so we're going to match that with the pepper jack. This is a contrasting pairing, so. What do you think, Corey? So give me your expertise. This is where you kind of shine, I think. So good.
Well, what are the main characteristics of that particular beer?
Okay, so this beer has malty but sweet notes. And so it's contrasting in the sense that it's going to bring out more of that spicy flavor from the peppers and the smokiness of the cheese. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, so one of the rules I always say, rule of thumb, sweet calms down heat. So if you have a beer that has slight sweetness to it, something candied, something kind of slightly sweet, you could have something spicy and that's actually balancing it out. It's actually cutting through the spices.
Right.
And you're actually going to taste more of the flavors into that. So it's like if that was in the wine world, that's why you have Gewürztraminers, Rieslings, things like that are slightly sweeter on the sweeter scale that you could actually put with spicy foods like Thai, Indian. If you have hot sauce, if you add hot sauce to your pizza, it's like things like that. That's the one thing that helps. That little tint of sweetness actually helps that.
I feel like this definitely brings out the pepper a lot. The spiciness is like prominent, which I love. I love something good and spicy. And I'll be honest, it's not like I was like in my head, like, I know exactly how to pair this. No, I like did a little research. I looked at a bunch of different articles and I was like, this is how we're going to do it. So again, I'm a novice. I'm not going to take credit and be like, in my mind, I know all these flavor profiles. But I think a nice thing. The sweetness is really prominent in mine. I don't know about yours.
So I'm going to give you a little words of advice.
Go ahead.
You have done very well, Mrs. Padawan. You've done very well. I had to throw that Yoda in there.
What is the best Yoda impressions?
It's a Yoda kind of mixed with Fozzie Bear, maybe Kermit, but it's there.
Fozzie's like one of my favorite characters. And also, this has nothing to do with beer or anything. It's just a Mel thing, is that I am obsessed with Muppets. I have been since I was a kid. And I'm actually on a Facebook fans page. That's how much I like them. So Just
That's awesome.
little weird
That's
about me.
I love how you threw that in there. All right, so pairing number two.
Right now it's fun.
All right, let's knock down pairing number two. Pairing number two.
So we're gonna go with the Roquefort Blue with the nut brown ale. This should be complementary. The brown ale is rich and malty with notes of nut and caramel. I'm not really sure where. Let's just try it.
Try it.
This is really good. That cheese is so creamy and delicious. It's such a nice texture.
And Roquefort is actually used in a lot of, like, if you're talking about products, like salads, blue cheese salads.
Yeah.
It's sheep's milk cheese. That's the other thing that makes it leaner and less dense than cow's milk. It's got more vibrancy to it. I love Roquefort. If just pairing that with that nut brown ale, think about one of my favorite pairings is cutting open a date or a fig, and that gives you that kind of that nutty caramel taste like that nut brown ale. And if you did the blue cheese, the Roquefort on top, maybe dab a little honey, you have the same complementary pairing as that beer.
Fantastic. That is a really nice cheese.
Woohoo! Boom! I like it.
Good soft cheese, a goat cheese. Goat cheese is probably like one of my favorite, or like sheep's milk. Anything that has that really nice, like velvety texture in your mouth where it kind of just melts and just, I think that this beer does go well with it. It's not too heavy. It's nice and light. The malt really gets expressed in this tasting. You would a little bit of the caramel for me, not so much. I'm really just getting a lot of the malt and just the texture of this cheese is just like you said, it's balanced, right? So this beer is actually a little bit lighter. The mouthfeel is a little bit like lighter, where the velvety richness of this cheese just kind of takes over. And
Just goes right through. Yes, I love it.
really, whoever decided to make that blog, you've done well. Thank you. I looked at a bunch of different ones, but I was like, that sounds like a good idea. Oh man,
Very well. Very well.
out of this world baked brie yesterday too. I mean, I threw it in the oven, but she like put it together. Top notch, I tell you, top notch.
I actually mentioned to somebody, I can't remember who I was on with, but I mentioned, have you ever done a brie quesadilla?
What is that?
Brie quesadilla, like a tortilla. You get you get the brie, you cut the rind out, you get it to its softest point. So you leave it on your counter for a few minutes, take it out of the fridge, get a super like triple cream brie. And when you look at it in the package, it's already mushy. It looks like a marshmallow.
Yeah.
Pull that thing out, let it sit on your counter, let it get a little bit more ripe, take the rind off, and then spread that sucker on a tortilla, let it stick it in the oven, and then do your favorite, like if you want to do your favorite like preserves, like or chutneys, you could add that. And then you add a layer on top, cut it in little pizza shapes, and you're ready to go.
Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. Hi, everybody that's just joining. We're doing beer and cheese pairings.
Yeah. Thank you all for joining us. And so what is on tap for pairing number three?
Okay.
Three.
We have the aged gouda, which should hopefully have some notes of butterscotch in it. We'll see. And we're pairing that with the imperial stout. Once again, this is one of my favorite imperial stouts. This is my mug, my rules. It is by Short Throw Brewing Company. They are based out of Connecticut. This is a really heavy imperial stout. Like, you can get lighter imperial stouts, but when I saw that this was in the store, I was like, gotta have it. It's one of my favorites. This has a lot of coffee and chocolate, cacao.
Oh yeah.
It's got marshmallow in it, which might be overdoing it, but I just love one. So let's see. They should match well together.
Absolutely. It's a good cheese.
Cheese is so good.
Oh yeah.
It's my kryptonite, I'll be honest with you, Corey.
I think it's all our kryptonite.
Well, I don't really eat cheese that much anymore. Oh yeah, that really
How's
goes.
that about?
Yeah. This is the dessert of the cheese plate, I would say. And what do you think? Are you eating it also? I need another piece. It was that.
Absolutely, absolutely. You want to get that nice collaboration.
Hmm.
The creaminess, the age, the nuttiness. That's the one thing that's interesting that I just talked to somebody about vegan cheeses is one note of cheese is it has a nutty flavor to it. So when you adapt a cheese, a non-milk cheese to the whole pyramid, all you need to do is have that nuttiness. And a lot of cheeses nowadays, like these vegan cheeses that are coming out, they have that nutty flavor, but it's merging and it's beautiful. I love it. I've done so many great pairings with vegan cheeses now, and they're so adaptable to all the beer and the wine and the
Hmm.
spirits. It's just great.
Yeah.
So
We just did aged Gouda. I'm sorry, Kenny. We aged Gouda was the last one. And actually, I'll be honest with you too. I don't think I've ever bought aged Gouda. I always go with a smoked Gouda. So I didn't
right.
know what to expect from this. I was like, okay, well, let's make sure like we get a good a good block of this cheese, because I was like, I usually like I said, it's usually smoked. Smoked Gouda is delicious.
Yeah.
This is, I was not expecting this.
Yeah.
This is
You know,
completely delicious. And this is just, my mind.
now was that is that an old Amsterdam Gouda or is it just a regular aged Gouda?
I have to go look at do you want me to go look at the packaging? Because I really didn't put too much thought.
If you later on, I mean, if you want to write down that like on just hit me up on
Yeah.
the comment or DM me because Old Amsterdam is really famous for that. It's really known as it's known as the Netherlands beer cheese because it's got that nuttiness. So it really goes well with the heavier pods of beer,
Okay.
your porters and your stouts.
Yeah, I'll have to.
So,
I didn't want to cheap out on it. I was like, I got to get a good cheese. If I'm going to do,
absolutely.
we're doing,
Absolutely.
it's a treat yourself kind of night. Like, dinner, like, it is what it is. That's what we're doing. What's up, Beer
Yeah.
Podcast? Nice to see you guys. Um, But my sister is like a huge cheese connoisseur, and she lives in Jersey City Heights, so we've seen each other exactly once since the pandemic. She gets really expensive good cheeses, so probably she would have been the better bet for you here. But you're stuck with me.
Oh man, no. It's
Oh, it's okay. I love my sister Becky. If you're watching, I love you. My favorite. Don't tell anybody. Um,
absolutely, absolutely.
but like I
Um,
good hard cheese too. I like
mhm,
Parmesan, and that's the other thing too. And I'll tell anybody that will listen to me: do not waste your time getting pre-shredded Parmesan. Throw the Kraft in the garbage. Get
yeah,
yourself a nice block. It will last you forever. Just put it away. Put it in a sealed container, and you take that bad boy out, and you fresh grate your Parmesan cheese
absolutely, absolutely.
as you're doing that, and just eat it. It's the way to live. I'll tell you.
Yeah, like I don't know how big like Whole Foods is on the East Coast, but here it's like really huge,
It is
and
where I
we
live.
have we have a good couple of good cheesemongers
Mhm.
at our Whole Foods, and they'll bring out the big block,
Oh yeah.
the big wheel of Parmesan Reggiano and cut it
Hmm.
right in front. And that's the thing that you want. You want the fresh.
Yeah.
You want the fresh cut, whereas Pecorino, Panna Granado, Parmesan Reggiano, Stravecchio, it is, if you go down the line, you want those aged cheeses cut fresh
Yeah.
and you're going to get the best out of it.
Yeah, they have huge cheese wheels. We actually have a couple of stores. We have a couple of like Italian specialty stores, so they'll have
Yeah,
a lot of really good like hard salamis and like mozzarella,
yeah,
like
I
prosciutto, like
dig
all
that.
you want to have. But even like our local grocery store has a phenomenal cheese selection, and it's not the pre-cut, pre-packaged like shop the perimeter of your grocery.
Right.
By the way, don't go in the center aisles unless you have to, right? You
Right.
you want
I
all that,
love that.
but like, and even with any of the meats, like I like to go to the local butcher. I
Right.
go to ShopRite. We have a ShopRite, so I do that. And Aldi's. So if you're a Trader Joe's person, Aldi's is like their sister store, their cousin store, and it is really primo for way less money.
Right.
That out there. I don't know if you guys have that out there,
We
but
do have all these. We
you,
do have all these. Well, I haven't seen one since I moved from California to Oregon, but I
mhm.
know there's some in California. Um, Now that we're getting close to the end, time flies. We have so
Oh,
much fun.
we did.
I can't thank you so much for your time, Melissa. I mean,
Like the best
seriously,
day ever.
yeah, it's been so rad. Like I said, if you don't follow Miss Melissa, you got to do it now. Follow her
Aw.
on her Beer World page. You got to do it. I just want to ask you two more important questions. As one thing that I've been really trying to highlight is, um, especially the females in the industry right now. It's really time to celebrate the females in all aspects, whether they're in the beer, wine, and spirits. I just had a female brewer on just a few days ago, and
I,
it's important to see, brewers, winemakers, distillers out there doing their thing, having organizations, associations with each other, building community. Where would you like to see the beer world go? Just not your store, just in general, but the
love
beer
you.
world in general. Yeah, go with the females.
Oh my gosh. Well, I don't know. I mean, and we talk about this a lot. Like I said, I have my little group. Like we talk every day. Like we have our little beer fit club, our beer fit fam and we really do. We talk every single day. But I think that there's been a big shift, and I think that the ladies are stepping up. I might not necessarily be one of
Yeah,
them. I'm a big fangirl of them. I'm like, you go, girl. I am such the cheerleader. But one of our girls is like brewing. She's like going for her cicerone. Like she is definitely next level, and there's more of them, and they're really like knowledgeable, and they know what they're doing, and they're not afraid to say
right.
it. So I would say like keep going in that direction, And it was funny because it's been International Women's Month. Well, it's April now, so it's not anymore. But um, like Alchemist is a husband brewer, and his wife is the CEO, and they are next level. So I think there's something to be said about that beer's not just for boys. And that's
Right.
what to follow too. So if you don't follow beer's not for isn't just for boys, you should.
Right.
So I don't know. I think it's equal opportunity. I am equal opportunity, and I just like seeing girls like doing their thing and being proud of it and being like, yeah, I drink beer, and yeah, I brew it too. So
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and I appreciate that. I think, especially what you do, you are a voice, whether you see it or not. You are out there. You're an ambassador. I consider everyone that I talk to, um,
uh,
everybody's community here. Everybody's welcomed here, and I'm supporting everyone.
yeah,
And what you do is important. It's vital what you do because you're setting another state. You're taking the next step, and you're allowing other females behind you you're paving the way for them to journey on, and that's important.
oh,
So I appreciate that.
there's a couple of things in life that I do, and we'll just like maybe close it with this, or we can keep talking. I don't care because I'm by Monday night, Corey. I'm sure you have it after me, but the first thing that I was raised by my dad. So the first thing is be independent, rely on no one, do what you need to do, and make yourself better and make your world around you better by what you do. So that's the first thing. Two, be unapologetic in what you do and give 100%. So if you're doing it, whether I'm chugging a beer to like my 80s song or I'm saving somebody's life at the hospital, I'm 100% invested in that at that time. And three, like, love everybody. And everybody is invited and everybody is equal and everybody is allowed to be themselves, and realize that when you can be a voice, and don't take things for granted. So I guess that's it.
Absolutely. I love that. I love those words. I love those words. And I couldn't say it better myself. No, I'm serious, Melissa. Thank you for your time. Thank you for those amazing pairings and sharing what Beer World's about.
Yay.
If those of you who don't know about Beer World, where can we find Melissa? Where can we find you at?
Okay, so I am in New York State. We are upstate from the city, but we are not upstate in Buffalo. So Hudson Valley, we've got locations in Peekskill, Middletown, Monticello, Liberty, Pine Bush, Monroe, Horseheads, Newburgh. I'm missing 3 stores. I always do this every time I start naming them. I'm like, oh wait, I forgot about this. Few others. Mainly I'm in Middletown a lot. I'm in Kingston a lot. I go to Pine Bush a lot. I have not been to Peekskill, but I need to be. And hopefully you'll see me more. And Monticello is my home location.
Yeah. Beer World's the best. I love that.
But
and
yeah, but I'll be at any location you want me to be. Oh.
And go ahead.
Nope. Lost it again. Never mind.
No, but go ahead.
Well,
You'll find Melissa's information on my page as well. You could be connected with her. If you want to DM me, I could pass on her information as well. And like I said, if you don't follow her now, follow Beer World now, support her and her husband and what they do. They are frontline heroes. Thank you so much for what you do. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your passion. Thank you for being an ambassador. You're awesome. You're awesome. And I can't say it enough. So we got to close it out. Cheers. Cheers to you.
Yeah, cheers.
And we got to do this again. Don't forget, we got to do this again. Keep in touch.
Anytime you want me on your show, I'm happy to oblige. We can even pair.
Awesome.
I love wine.
All right. Well, cheers, everyone.
Kenny, sorry. Kenny is asking. I liked Roquefort the best. Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
100%. Not even a question.
No, you're good. You're good. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, Melissa, for joining us. We'll see you next time. Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
Boom, boom, boom.
Bye.
Bye. Right. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me and Melissa on Breaking Bread with Corey. Like I said, I can't say it enough. If you don't follow Melissa, you got to follow her on her page, as well as her Beer World page as well. You will, if you're still in semi-lockdown and you need something to uplift your day, this is a page that will do it. She is so awesome. And thank you all again. I can't say it enough. Thank you all for your support. And remember, here at Breaking Bread, we celebrate women every day. It's not just 1 month, 1 day of the year. We celebrate women every day. We support the community. We support the minority community. It's about community. It's about being welcomed in. Hopefully you enjoyed this show today. We have some more coming up this week on Thursday and Friday. Don't forget to follow me and check out all the upcoming guests that we have. It's going to be great. And again, thank you so much for your time. Until next time, cheers. Book.